They rode for days through the rain, and they rode through rain and hail and rain again. In that gray storm light that crossed the flooded plain with the footed shapes of the horses reflected in the water among clouds and mountains, and the riders slumped forward, rightly skeptic of the shimmering cities on the distant shore of that sea whereon they trod, miraculous. They climbed up through rolling grasslands where small birds shied away, chittering down the wind, and a buzzard labored up from among bones with wings that went whoop, 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 like a child's toy swung on a string. And in the long red sunset, the sheets of water on the plain below them lay like tide pools of primal blood. They passed through a highland meadow carpeted with wildflowers, acres of golden groundsel and zinnia and deep purple gentian, and wild vines of blue morning glory. A vast plain of varied small blooms reached onward like a gingham print to the furthest serried rimlands blue with haze, and the adamantine ranges rose out of nothing like the backs of sea beasts in a Divinian dawn. It was raining again, and they rode slouched and their slickers hacked from greasy half-cured hides, and so cowed in these primitive skins before the gray and driving rain, they looked like some wardens of some dim sect set forth to prophesize among the very beasts of the land. The country before them lay clouded and dark. They rode through the long twilight, and the sun set, and no moon rose. To the west, the mountains shuddered again and again in clattering flames and burned to final darkness, and the rain hissed in the blind night land. They went up to the foothills among pine trees and barren rock, and they went up through juniper and spruce and the rare great aloes and the rising stalks of the yuccas with their pale blooms silent and unearthly among the evergreens. In the night they followed a mountain torrent and a wild gorge choked with mossy rocks. They rode under dark grottos where the water dripped and sputtered and tasted of iron. They saw the silver filaments of cascades dividing upon the faces of distant buttes that appeared as signs of wonders in the heavens, themselves so dark was the ground of their origins. They crossed the blackened wood of a burn, and they rode through a region of cloven rock where great boulders lay halved with smooth, uncentered faces, and on the slopes of those fairy grounds old paths of fire and the blackened bones of trees assassinated in the mountain storms. On the day following, they began to encounter holly and oak and hardwood forest, much like those they had quit in their youth. In pockets on the north slopes, hail lay nestled among the leaves, and the nights were cool. They traveled through the high country, deeper into the mountains where the storms had their lairs. A fiery, clan-glorious region where white flames ran on the peaks, and the ground bore the blunt smell of broken flint. At night, the wolves in the dark forests of the world below called to them as if they were friends to man, and Clanton's dog trotted moaning among the endless articulating legs of the horses. 9 days out of Chihuahua, they passed through a gap in the mountains and began to descend by a trail that ran carved along the solid stone face of a bluff 1,000 feet above the clouds. A great stone mammoth watched from the gray escarpment above them. They picked their way down single file. They passed through a tunnel hewn in the rock, and on the other side, miles below them in the gorge, lay the roofs of a town. They descended by rocky switchbacks down across the beds of streams where small trout stood on their pale fins and studied the noses of the drinking horses. Sheets of mist, the smell and taste of metal rose out of the gorge and crossed over them and moved on through the woods. They nudged the horses to the ford and down the trace, and at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, in a thin and drizzling rain, they rode into the old stone town of Jesus Maria.